Welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And this video is to help you unclog your third eye, help you improve your clairvoyance, and just kind of assist you on that journey. So, I feel like there's a lot of myths about the third eye, what it is, what it can do. There's myths about spiritual awakenings. There's just so much. There's so many different perspectives on it. All I can really do is offer you mine through my experience. And let's just give ourselves a whole bunch of permission right now to move into a free space, an open, free space, and really feel that openness, feel that creativity, feel that permission for you to let your mind be creative. You know, a playful, creative mind can transcend limitations, can really open up new horizons, new plateaus for you. So the journey doesn't, I think one of the biggest problems in spirituality is the information coming from other people is from their own journey, their own perspective, and very possible their own limitations. So this sets up expectations. Are expectations bad? No, but they're kind of like preconceived ideas. They're like a standard we're trying to fit into. And so we discount our own natural way of seeing, of understanding, and relating to our environment. And then, okay, I feel like I thoroughly talked about that. The next moment, this next little bit of information is unity. Feeling interconnected to all things. That would be your five senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound, hearing. That's just your senses. And so, what about your mind? What about your body? What about your environment in your body? What about all this together? So, affirming your unity, your interconnectedness to all life, to all possibility. So take in some connecting breaths. What is healing but connecting to those aspects of ourselves that have been put on a shelf, thrown away and abandoned, marginalized, discounted, sold at a lower price, given to others, given to the system? Why throw away your mind? Why throw away your heart? Why throw away your soul in order to gain something like spiritual gifts, like blessings from above, whatever the narrative is, whatever the programming is? So let's move on out of that. Move into a free space. However that looks like for you. All your five senses are actually feeling, not the emotion, but the sensation. Like I feel it in my nervous system. I feel it through my body. I feel this energy in my environment. I feel this energy in my body. I feel this energy. So even with emotions, they kind of mingle with the feeling sense. And you're like, I'm feeling angry. That energy that we describe as anger has a feeling to it. It might feel hot, it might feel staticky, it might feel ripping, tearing, uh, melting, hot, volcanic, explosive. So these descriptive words are helping us navigate the very abstract sense of what emotions actually are: chemicals rushing through our bodies and our nervous system responding to those chemical reactions. So there's this interplay of chemicals, emotional emotions, a response in the physical body to that chemical release, and then another response of nervous system stimulation. How does that translate into blind rage? Does everything turn red? I know when I really let go into my emotions, which is rare, I usually kind of suppress them. So being honest with yourself, taking that inventory, fall in love with the person that you are as well. So I can understand myself and say, I used, kind of like stifling, smothering, repressing emotions, that volatile. I didn't give myself the permission and the freedom to let my feelings overtake me like a tidal wave. If I did that, I was afraid. Am I going to harm others like I have been harmed? Am I going to scare others like I have been scared? Am I going to inflict basically an atomic bomb on friends, family, coworkers, loved ones, my society, and take away my own stability? Um, so why are so when we are choosing to develop our psychic abilities, we're also choosing to understand ourselves more, to create that wholeness and and become more who you are. When you do that, your psychic abilities increase. Period. So you could say, so seeing into your past, examining self examination, seeing into your thought process. Look at that programming inherited, forced fed to you, can, for the purpose of removing that which is not authentic to your being, you know? And look at the way how you suppress, hide thoughts, feelings, memories, past traumas. And so, and there was wisdom in the suppression. There's wisdom in that. Was I old enough to handle the potential consequences of letting loose and feeling the fullness of my intensity? Uh, Looking at the whole situation in a society that disapproves of emotional outbursts, that doesn't acknowledge the individual's suffering, you know, I would say it was probably wiser to go about the way I did for myself. And then what is the sacrifice? Not being able to surrender, not giving myself the permission to feel and express and just fall into the volcano and become one with the volcano, you know. Uh Probably uh slowed down the that power part of love, wisdom, and power, the threefold balance. Without power, how can you do magic? Without power, how can you acquire and maintain a job? So the stifling effect of not giving myself the full potential to feel and think and react authentically painted a false image which attracted danger. It shows up as weak. It shows up as appearing cowardly, appearing soft, dimming my light to give other people permission to feel safe. you know, it kind of creates false advertisement. It creates confusion in others. They may not fully understand it. They just go, I don't really understand this person. So I'll probably not connect. I will. So I think it creates isolation. And then the long term effect is you doubt yourself, which brings us to this video. We doubt ourselves, we doubt our senses, we doubt our abilities, we doubt our connection to all things. And so I find over the years of helping clients, friends, loved ones, students, associates, it's usually all about, giving them the pep talk and then instilling trust and ease to help them move through that barrier, can be so. What is stopping you can be a lot of things, but I think one of the big ones is permission to see, to feel, to know. But this video is more about visualization and the art of clairvoyance. So we now kind of covered your past, your shadow work, your crap. It's advisable to work through that. Clarity. So all the 5 psychic senses, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, all start with clear. And be clear of your ego, be clear of your baggage, be clear of the excessive programming. Can we clear it all? Probably not. But can we clear enough to let the light in and to let the light out? To shine, to glow, to, turn on that massive supercomputer, your quantum level self. And, so the equipment is there. You just need to plug it into the power source. And it may be plugged in and there, but you might need to prime it, by doing a few exercises like some creative visualization. So, truly, seriously, the art of magic, the art of psychic powers, is the ability to focus. So, literally, if you just focus on one point, I honestly love to just focus at the center of my head and feel. Not, I'm tactile. So, we've discovered that there's 3 learning styles. People are either predominantly a feeler type, they need to feel it with their hands, they feel it with their skin, and it's very nervous system oriented. Other people are very visual type. Words, letters, symbols, images, and they receive that information and understand their environment through the visuals. And others are auditory, sound. So you could be a combination, and I'm probably predominantly physical tactile. I have to feel my body to know I'm on planet Earth. So let's do this, So think of a simple shape like a square or a pyramid, like triangle or a circle, and trace it with your fingers. As you imagine Get your fingers around this object. And can you visualize better when you put hand gestures with it? If you get your physical body involved, does that make it more visual for you? Since clairvoyance, visioning, is what we're doing. Did that make it harder? You might have to stick with it for a minute. Do you feel points of the square or the triangle? Is that easier for you? Or do you need the full surface of a sphere? What does the color green feel like? Can you feel a color? Can you conjure up a color? Do you now get visuals as you feel it touching your body? Can you put the color that you feel with the shape that you now see? Can you link the feelings and the color together, the sensations, the bodily feeling? Okay, now let it go. Sometimes for myself, my visuals are just offline. They're not happening. So I get a lot of information through sensation of energy. And so I hold the focus of the color of the object. I trust it's happening, but for some reason, I'm just blind in that dimension. So I don't let it stop me. I'm like, okay, you're a blind wizard. Your eyes are not operational right now, literally. So we have blind people in this dimension, and they navigate, some of them so well, they can see. They feel the energy and hear it so well bouncing off of objects, or they even literally will create a sound to get feedback from their environment, and they can navigate really well. There actually is a Eastern martial art where they are training their vision, so blind people can basically see, and that's not difficult. Okay, it's exotic, in the form of a martial art, but the reality is all your senses are connected, and one of your other senses can become dominant and literally fill in the blanks for you. So they're using the sensation of touch with energy, like extending that feeling of touch to their outer world and getting really good results. Okay. So, or they're doing the auditory sound. And then when you combined it with small sound signals and lots of touch, you now got two senses filling in the blank of your eyes. So, literally, uh, we're moving on. The energy is flowing. We're going with it, okay? We're going to move on to sound. So, pick your basic shape and this time add a sound and kind of visualize and feel the sound, kind of like touching the shape and making it visual. So, just like a strobing sound would be good, or a Om, or any of the, A, E, I, O, U. Like, so I guess you. As you feel it resonate through your body, it will obviously clear your chakras. But is there a shape coming up on the screen of sound that you're projecting? Either you can project it internally, you can project it externally. All right. So if you can do some like Tibetan throat breathing or throat singing, you can make really cool sounds. And so I didn't see a shape, but I definitely saw a color. And it was kind of like in the soft oranges. And it was mostly around the perimeter. So you can describe, you can articulate, you can speak. I notice words speaking, uh, the description words kind of automatically uh, cue up visuals. I notice I can visualize into that inner. I can have visualization experiences with my eyes open. So, yeah, very cool. That felt so good, actually. So, speaking of that, you can use sound to clear your third eye. And then people are getting all into like the hertz frequency sounds, and they get really into it. But the reality is, any sound you make can clear your third eye, can clear the screen, can shatter negative energy. You can just make really cool sounds to break up a psychic attack. You can make cool sounds to remove a spirit or an entity bothering you. You can make sounds. So I will literally just clear my whole room through the intention linked with the sound. And I'm going to visualize. So I'm going to visualize. I'm actually going to let the sound kind of help me visualize. So notice this like permission that's starting to happen. And this is a little bit more new for me as I give myself more permission to flow. I trust that each moment, as I am connected, as I affirm my connection, then these movements that I instinctually want to take are correct. Actually, I feel like the room is actually pretty good. So you can kind of like scan your space. This is really great for setting space for yourself on the fly. You're like, I don't have tools, I don't have a ritual. What do I do? I'll just make a sound. And I'll go with that. Like, so that questioning sound, I don't know what to do, will actually be the perfect sound to clear my room now. Okay, so my room is now cleared. So I reached out with my mind. The sound felt like a blue. And so, and I also visualized like a kind of like a Star Trek scanning device, doing that kind of like flashy, subtle laser beam. And I basically just visualized my room being swept with this like laser, and I listened with the sound for any disturbances or fluctuations, either in my voice reacting to it or if something visually showed up. You know, so earlier when I said, "Oh, I'm just going to clear my room." It's because I felt a cloud of energy, kind of a dead space. I was like, that needs a little adjustment and it doesn't need to be here. So, setting space, grounding, you have all the tools you need with your body. So, I really advocate in my videos uh, to stop abandoning yourself, bring yourself back to your body so you can live empowered. So, old school thinking was, get out of your body to have a vision, get out of your body, astral project. Guess what? You're already in the astral. There's no reason to disassociate and have a disassociative psychic experience. And then it's hard. So when you see psychics that are all loopy and are all jumped into your energy, that's creating disassociation in them. That creates a hole, and that hole must be filled. And it could be filled with the toxicity of your client, it could be filled with a strange spirit just hanging out, an entity. A spirit is a vague word. That could be the energy of the room. So let's say you're doing card readings in an antique shop. How many weird objects have been touched by people and the owners? Who knows? That disorganized energy can get lodged in your body when you're out giving a reading or you feel like you need to be out having a magical psychic confirmation experience. Because I think of my senses as most, if I get any information on my senses that isn't actually just consciousness, knowing, and awareness, any of the other stuff like the visuals, the sensation of hot and cold, the colors, the sounds, that's all confirmation that I am interacting with something on a greater level. So it's just confirming, yes, you know. So as I scanned and I felt the cloud and started to see it in my room, uh, that's just affirming that that space is needs an adjustment. It needs a little awareness put there. So yeah, you're actually learning all the nuts and bolts to magic. And I've decided to present it this way, kind of cloak and daggered, obfuscated, to teach people at multiple levels. You may find a few keys. You're like, oh, oh, okay. You might find a few little missing links uh, in your understanding. Might complete a circuit for you. We're coming to the end of this video. And so just by focusing, you're bringing your energy in, you're concentrating your awareness. So a lot of people's energy is just too scattered. So just bringing it in. And if you add your breath to it, combined it, yoke it together, you'll eventually automatically turn on your third eye. So usually like 20 minutes is good enough. Gentle. Don't overwork it. Don't get too involved. It's a natural process. So I literally think of a shape like a dime, a little round dot, like the size of a penny or a dime. The center of my head, it's usually just black. And I just focus there. Now, if you're already seeing just black, and you put a black dot there, you can't see. You're like, Onyx, I can't see my black dot. And I'm like, yeah, there's no contrast. So do a white dot in a black environment. I let my body dissolve. So all there is that object to see. You actually might be so close to your dot, you need to like back away. Your sight seeing abilities actually might be a little to the left on a diagonal angle down. So imagine you're in a box, okay? And try looking forward. Oh, you don't see anything? Even though your body's still, try looking to your side. Notice if you see anything now. Try looking above, to your left, to your right, behind you, underneath. You might need to back away from the object. You might need to move closer to the object. It might be actually so far you can't see it in that dark space. So sometimes it's just orienting yourself. There is no up or down. There is no right or wrong. Like you're just in a psychic space that has no descriptions. So this is one of the biggest reasons why people can't see is there's no reference point. You need light to see dark. You need something to compare it to nothing. You need something solid to, and so this duality could be what's troubling you. So practice moving so on certain days, everything should be pushed out, like you're reading a book or you're drawing a picture, and you can see better that way. And so you might actually be removed from the image, not so connected, and you might visualize that way. And then you might need to create the experience of closest. So near and far, big and small, wide and narrow. Play with these kind of like perceptions, these measurements that actually don't exist. There are no boundaries. There is no barrier. There is no actual perimeter. So we actually almost create through limitation by describing the unlimited. And so play with that, you know? And then breath work, obviously. The more you just kind of sit and breathe, the oxygen will literally open up your third eye. Just the breathing, the circulation, the purifying.